Let's see if we are in. We should be in. We should be live. I'm going to find it real quick so I can follow along. Let's try. Try this again. Refresh. Yeah, I see it. I see myself. Always a terrifying thing. Good morning. Good afternoon. What's that old Truman Show? Remember that? Good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And if I don't see you, good night. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Got a couple people in here already. Welcome, Joan, Raymond. Always great to see you. Always from Bakersfield, California. Hello, Robin. Mr. Matt James. Gonna have to bring the bacon today because Matt James is here, folks. He gonna want to know all the secrets. Should we give them to him or not? I don't know. So, you're new here. You are in the right place because we're gonna bring some good stuff today. Seriously, I'm excited about this one. Marketing is always a good topic for us author folks. Why? Well, because nobody knows how to do it, including me. So why are you even here? No, I'm just kidding. Most of you probably know this, but I was a marketing guy for a long time. I don't give up my age, but I was a marketing guy. I did marketing for websites. I built websites. Worked at basically an ad agency. So I was doing SEO and Google Ads campaigns. I learned every trick in the book. Right. Of course, this wasn't for books. This wasn't for what we're talking about today. This was just marketing, general marketing. But I studied marketing. I loved marketing. Actually went in my music degree that I ended up getting. About 4 years in, I decided, I want to switch to marketing. I really like marketing. And so I actually enrolled in business school and got a minor in marketing or entrepreneurship. So Douglas Pratt, welcome. All that to say, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to marketing. Now, that doesn't mean much if I'm just a general marketing guy and I'm here dropping general marketing advice. But it does mean something because I've done this for books. So everything that I'm talking about, everything that I say, I've tested, I've tried, I've studied, I've done, I've failed doing. And I've learned a little bit over the years, right? So I'm hoping that this will serve you because every single one of you here, all 7 million of you, is an author. Rose asked, is it her connection or did we lose Nick? Well, I'm still here. If someone can drop a comment, let us know if you still see me or not. That would be good. We're going to wait a couple minutes like we usually do. Try to get in here and make sure we've got enough people. Robin says I'm still here. That's good. Yeah, I've been using OBS Studio, which is an open source platform for video conferencing, things like that. And it's been pretty rock solid. I like that. I like it a lot. Matt James says my handsomeness is slightly blurred. Oh, Maddie, I got a thing. Have I got a thing for you? Check this out. Watch my screen. See, a little blurry in the background. Now I can blur. Now I can freshen the background. Anyway, I don't know if you can even see that. I can see it on my side. I think it's cool. Joan says she can only view on her phone. Keeps glitching on the computer. Hey, no worries. Look, remember, you know how these go. Joan, you've been here with us a few times already. Same thing as always. I'm going to have this pinned, at least for a few days, up on the top of this Facebook group. Okay, so you come in and watching me, listening to me, trying to get some good tidbits, some good nuggets of wisdom. If you can't do that, or you drop out, or when something happens, don't worry. This isn't going anywhere. I've got this recording too on my desktop. So knock on desktop wood. Everything should be recorded and you'll be able to hear. I'll be able to post this. And if something does blow up, I'm just going to keep rolling. And I'm just going to talk to myself because I do that a lot anyway. And we'll have it recorded. We'll lift it, put it up on the web. On this group, you're in the right place, and you can find it there no matter what happens. Deal? Deal. Okay, cool. All right, we got a decent little handful of people watching in. Welcome. Let me know where you're from. Jump in the comments and just drop it in there. I know Joan's from Bakersfield, California. Robin's up there in Nathan McKinnon land. I guess Sidney Crosby land, but come on. I mean, he's old news. said the kid. Yeah, so she's up in Nova Scotia, I believe. Yeah, okay. Something like that. I don't know my Canadian geography. It's all just the frozen north to me. Gentry Davidson says, "Sup? What's up, man? Welcome in. I think this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be really. I'm excited to jump into this. I am gonna ramble for one more minute just to make sure that all the people that just got my email are poking in, refreshing the page, making sure they can see, making sure they can hear, because I do want this to be live as much as possible. On that note, Rose, welcome from Seattle. On that note, if you have a question at any point, feel free to interrupt me. Just drop a comment in there. I'm going to try to watch them as I go. But you know how this works. Facebook is Facebook, and it's a little wonky sometimes. So if I don't see your comment in situ as it happens, no worries. I will get to it afterward the next couple days. I usually do these, and this is sort of like the beginning of my weekend, right? So this is Thursday for me, but hey, you know what? Self-published author. I get to do what I want. I just need to decompress. So I will go and decompress, come back and answer your comments. Don't worry. If you have a question, I will see it and I will answer. It just may not be live, but I'm going to try to. I only see 4 at a time. That's the problem. Audrey, welcome. Glad you're here. West Virginia, welcome. John from New York City. I'm assuming that's what NYC means. Could be something different. I don't know. Maybe you're in Montana. Who knows? Natalie says hi from San Francisco Bay Area. Welcome. Nice. We've got some San Francisco style weather here right now, which is nice. We're all walking around outside. You can see my glorious glow from walking around in the Colorado sun. All right, we're going to get started. Andrea, welcome. So, hey, we're talking about marketing. We're talking about book marketing specifically. And you know me, I like to kind of roll into this slowly to make sure we're all on the same page, catch everybody up. That means definitions. That means talking about some problems, talking about what bad marketing looks like, things like that, before we get into the real, kind of meat and potatoes. But trust me, I've been putting this together for 3 or 4 weeks now, honestly. This is the one that I couldn't wait for because there's a lot to unpack. I'll try to get through it in an hour, so if I go fast, that's why. But I'll try to leave some time for questions at the end. And of course, once we end this, it's not going anywhere. I'm gonna pin it to the page for at least a few days. So go back through, write some notes, and ask some questions, and I'll jump in there. And one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. Okay. So first of all, here's the question that sort of leads this discussion for me. What is holding you back from successfully marketing your books? What is holding you back from successfully marketing your books? I want you, this isn't rhetorical, by the way. I want you, even say it out loud. I won't be able to hear you, but that's okay. Your cats will, and your spouse will. Say it out loud. What is holding you back from successfully marketing your books? You can even put it in the comment here if you're willing to let everybody else see it. But think in terms of this could be money. Maybe you have this idea that marketing has to cost X amount and it's just, you don't have the money for it. Maybe related to that, it's cash flow. Amanda, I see, says she sucks at ad copy. Yeah. So writing ads, writing copywriting content, right? We're all writers, but this isn't fiction. We need to get to the point real quick and, do some marketing. What is holding you back from successfully marketing your books? Now, again, I mentioned we're going to talk through definitions. There's already some stuff here that we should unpack. So what does it mean to be held back? What does it mean to successfully market your books? What is marketing even talking about? What are we talking about when we say books? So we're going to get into some of that stuff, right? Here are, so we're going to get into, here's the problems that I see that I've talked to. I've taught this for years, right, guys? Like I said, I was a marketing guy. I trained other people in how to do marketing even before I wrote a book. And I carried all that knowledge, I won't say wisdom, but knowledge with me into marketing books. And I figured some things out over the years, right? So keep that question in your mind as we go forward. What's the problem that's holding you back from successfully marketing your books, okay? Joan says it's the entire process. She does well to announce my book. I do well to announce my book, but then I don't want to keep bugging people. Ads are not feasible right now. Oh man, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to talk about this. Joan, I have a plan for you, and I'm not blowing smoke, okay? There's some real solid stuff here. Pay attention because this is going to help you, okay? Pull out that notebook, take some notes. Again, go back through after the recording is live. There's some good stuff here. I really tried to bring it this time, honestly, guys. But let me go back. Okay, so the problems that I have heard And these are all problems that I personally have faced as well. Is one, we're bombarded by new things to try all the time, right? I remember the day BookBub came out, and it was, Simon released BookBub. It was like, oh, okay, cool, this is really neat. Another thing to try, and then of course BookBub ads came a couple of years later, right? TikTok, right? Ring a bell? Yeah, all the social media du jour, right? TikTok, all the new stuff on Facebook, granular targeting, things on Amazon to try, like not just the AMS platform, but all their weird little other platforms that people don't even know exist. Things like ad tracking. What do they call that on Amazon? The attribution tool that they just announced and just launched. So there's always new things to try. There's always something new under the sun. There's always this kind of new thing that we feel like we should try. And the problem with that, the real problem behind that problem is that we also are given an author or 10 who do this and are using it well, right? We always have an example of an author who did TikTok and they're super successful. Or they used Amazon attribution for their Facebook ads, and that's what made them super successful, or so we think, okay? Okay, problem number 2 is we don't have enough time to try new things. This goes hand in hand with the first problem, right? There's not enough time. Like we're sitting here to listen to a live stream, get off social media, go do ads, right? There's not enough time to do all of the things. And then finally, another huge one, this is probably the biggest one that I hear, or at least the most common that I hear, is we don't have enough money. There's all these things, and I bet they could work, but I can't afford to spend $5 even on all of these platforms, if I even thought $5 was enough, right? All of these problems, guys, they really boil down to one big problem. If I can kind of encapsulate this marketing books issue into one problem, it's this. We don't know how to choose what to focus on, okay? We don't know how to choose what we should be focusing on. And again, this is not rhetorical. This is not experiential. This is practical. This is me. I'm talking to myself here. It is so hard for me, Nick Thacker, who knows how to market books, to choose what to focus on. Okay? So maybe you can resonate with that. Maybe I'm speaking to you right now. I'm getting right into your optic stem and looking at your brain, saying, I know you. I hear, I see you, right? I do, because this is me. We don't know how to choose what we should be focusing on. All right? I'm going to literally tell you. And again, I keep kind of building it up. I'm a good marketer, right? So that's all going to come later. So stay tuned. But I'm literally going to give you, I know, surprise, surprise, a framework to look at all this stuff, okay? But I want to define marketing first. I want to just make sure that we're all on the same page, okay? Because I think we're overcomplicating some of these things. We're making this just too hard. We're convoluting what we should be doing. So at least for this hour, bear with me. This is how I define marketing as it relates to books specifically, but really it's just generally marketing. This is how Nick Thacker defines marketing, okay? It's creating something that you know someone will like, and then showing it to them. That's it. Okay, it's not selling. That is a component of our career. Marketing is just creating something you know someone will like, and then showing it to them. Is that fair? So let's unpack that real quick. It's creating something that's writing a book, okay, producing a series, recording an audiobook, whatever it is. You've created a product. But that implies, built into that, you know that somebody will like it. And guess what? You're a precious, unique snowflake, but there's probably somebody out there who will like what you've done. Okay, we're not going to dig into the right to market stuff. That's all good. That's all helpful. We're just talking about the sheer fact that there is somebody out there who likes what you've got, what you've done. Yes, you can find more people who like that. Yes, you can write to market and produce something in a subgenre that you already know a ton of people like. That's great, and that's only going to help. But I'm just saying, the definition of marketing is creating something you already know somebody will like, and then here's the part that we all get scared of, showing it to that person. Okay, I'm using singular for a reason, and I'm not going to tell you why, but I think you can figure out why. The reason we're scared of that second part of showing it to people is because of something called bad marketing. Now, that is a scientific term that I totally just came up with, but it's the way I define things that we don't like on the internet, or advertising and on the TV, whatever it is. Bad marketing. We get scared away because marketing feels what? Dirty. It feels gross. Why does it feel gross? Because we see bad marketing so often, right? And you know the old adage? I don't know if that's a word. Must be, said it. We see bad marketing so often, right? The things that stick with us, here's the adage, right? The things that stick with us are the things that we don't like. We're like, right, we don't remember all the good marketing. I mean, unless it's like exceptionally good. We remember all the bad stuff. We remember all the crap, right? But usually bad marketing is easily categorized into one of three things, and that's it. One or more of three things, right? It's usually either the wrong product, the wrong audience, or the wrong offer. Okay, I'll repeat those real quick because it's important to get these right. It's either the wrong product leads to bad marketing, the wrong audience can obviously lead to bad marketing, or the wrong offer can lead to bad marketing, right? So like one man's spam is another man's treasure. I don't want to hear from Bed Bath & Beyond, so guess what? It's spam. It's eye of the beholder. Bad marketing is typically one of those three things. If one of those things is off, it's off-putting. We don't like it. We call it bad marketing. More than one of those things is off, ooh, vomit in our mouth, right? We hate it. You got a wrong product, send it to the wrong audience. Oh, bad marketing. Okay, does this make sense? Yes, there's sleazy, there's shisty sales guy, whatever. They're always guys. I don't know why to be sexist, but that's just true, right? Yes, those exist, but I'm not talking about that. That's like 10% or less even of all marketing. But bad marketing can be a perfectly legitimate company with a great intention selling the wrong product to the wrong audience with the wrong offer, or just one of those three things, okay? All right, I've belabored that enough. You guys get it? So how do you do this and not do bad marketing? How do you create a product you already know someone will like and then show it to them and not be perceived as bad or not a good marketer? Well, you need to focus on three things. That's it. There's three things you need to do at all times, okay? If you're just getting started in this career, or even if you've been down the road, you've written 1,000 books, but you haven't quite figured out this marketing thing, I don't want you to hear me say that you have to do these three things and start them all at the same time. All right? Chances are you've dabbled in these three things, and chances are you are pretty good at least one of these things. But I want you to just throw everything else out of your brain. Okay, just trust me, please. Just throw everything else out of your brain that you think you know about book marketing. Because I'm going to tell you, you're just wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. That stuff isn't necessarily bad. It's just you can't focus on all of the things, right? So I'm going to give you three to focus on. These I don't think will ever change because they're a little bit more, they're bigger, right? They're not generic or vague. They're just bigger. And so you can really drill down into these. And as things change, as the tools change over the years, the tactics change, all that, these three things, these three buckets, if you will, I believe will always be the same. So I'm going to give those three to you, but I'm also going to talk about this framework that I mentioned of how to approach these three things. And there's three more things. So there's three things, there's three buckets of marketing that we're going to focus on. And then as you approach each one of those buckets, there's a framework that is also three things, three ways to look at that thing. Does that make sense? So we got like 9 things, but the whole point is there's just 3 things that are more of like a formula almost that you can apply to whatever marketing strategy you want to do. Okay? One of the 3 things that I'm going to give you. We ready? Because there's a lot of stuff here, guys. That was all practical. I'm sorry, that was all philosophical, right? That was all like, here's the theory, and I'm about to give you the practical. Here's how the nuts and bolts. Here's how you actually do it. Peter says he missed the beginning. Sorry, man. It's okay. Just rewatch it. Yeah, you just come on back. This is going to go right up on Facebook. I do take them down because I'm going to try to repackage them and possibly sell them or whatever later. But you guys are here and you guys signed up, and I want to give this stuff to you for free. It's going to be pinned for at least a few days to this group, Book Career in a Year group. So welcome. Thanks. Anyway, here we go. So here's the 3 things. You're all going to get your pitchforks out because you know what these are. You've heard them before, and you're sitting here waiting for a silver bullet. Sorry, I don't have one. It's the same 3 things that you know about. But again, I'm going to give you a different way to approach these. I want you to forget about all the other stuff you think you know about these. Here they are. And they're in order for a reason. 1, social media. 2, advertising. And 3, email marketing. That's it, guys. That's all I want you focusing on for the next 10 years. Challenge? Huh? Yeah, accept it. Take it. I accept your challenge, Nick. Got it. Social media, advertising, email marketing. You want to do billboard ads? Stop it. Don't do it. Okay? You want to go do public signings in libraries? Stop it. Don't do it. I mean, you can do it, but that's not going to help you in your marketing efforts. Okay? It's just not going to. Throw out all that stuff. Focus on these three things: social media, advertising, email marketing. Okay? Those are the three buckets. Now, let me tell you, everything in marketing comes down to doing one of three things. So this is the framework here. This is the three things that you need to be doing for each of the three buckets that I gave you, each of the three things. Are we confused yet? Good. Okay. So everything you do in marketing will be one of three things. It will be either a launch, a campaign, or an evergreen. Okay? A launch, a campaign, or an evergreen. You can call it evergreen campaign, evergreen, whatever you want to call it. But I didn't want to use the word campaign twice. So that's it. That's literally all you will be doing. Okay. I'm not saying you can't do more, but if you don't have your social media game, your advertising game, and your email marketing game set, don't do anything else. Just focus on launching, campaigns, and evergreens in each of those three areas. All right. We got about 20 minutes left, and I'm going to unpack each of these in those areas before questions, because I know you guys are going to have some questions. Bring it. Challenge me. Okay? Real quick, again, just to recap, marketing is about building something, creating something that we already know somebody out there will like. Okay? If you're creating something that nobody will like, guys, you're not going to be able to market that. You can try. It's just not going to work. So creating something, in this case, right, what are we doing? We're talking about books, fiction. We already lost somebody from the stream. That's right. I know. I make people mad. 2 people. See you later, guys. All right. It's all right. I'm right. You're wrong. Don't worry about it. Sorry. I get all feisty about marketing. Look, marketing is about creating something, in this case, a book, and then showing it to the person who you already know will like it. And I mentioned earlier that I think of this in terms of the singular, a person. How do you scale up? You scale down. What does that mean? Well, you can't scale an ad campaign, guys, unless you know that one person you're trying to reach. Does that make sense? You can't take the average of America or the UK or wherever you are and then say that's who I'm targeting, because that's not a person. That doesn't exist. That's just this conglomerate, right? I'm not going to go into it, but look up the World War II. I think it's a bomber, or maybe it's a fighter plane story. But they tried to make the seats comfortable for the average pilot. Well, what happened was nobody actually fit in those seats because no one's average. So you need to go look up the story. It's a really good story, actually. It kind of talks about some of this marketing stuff. What was I talking about? Yeah, so you need to be singular. You need to approach this stuff from a singular way, one person at a time. You want to scale up, you need to scale down. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm not going to unpack it a whole lot here, but just think in terms of singular. I said singular for a reason. It's one person at a time. If this sounds exhausting, it is. If you're doing this, it's going to be a lot of work. It shouldn't be exhausting if you're doing it right. Okay? And like I said, you don't have to do all this today. But think about those 3 buckets: social media, advertising, email marketing. Which one is the one that you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm not really good at that one. That one probably needs a little bit more love. A little TLC. Okay? Figure out which one it is. Keep that in mind as we talk through these. You don't have to do all these at once. I actually recommend not doing these at once. If you're just getting started, you're welcome. Thanks for being here, first of all. You got your 1 book out. You got your series out. You're planning your first book, whatever it is. Think about these 3 things. Which one sounds most exciting to you? Do that one. Establish that one first. Set up your launches, your campaigns, and your evergreens for that one thing. We'll talk about what those mean. Like I said, we're going to get into it. Don't worry. But then focus on the next one. Keep that one running. Okay? You do social media first. Great. Get your launches, get your campaigns, get your evergreens going in that bucket, and then focus on advertising. If you just don't care, start with email marketing. That's probably the one that is going to be the core. And that the reason I put it last is those other 2 things lead into email marketing. I probably should have put it first, but whatever. Email marketing kind of stands on its own because it's simply just not going to go anywhere. You're going to have to do it. So I'm pretty sure you're going to always have to advertise, and pretty sure social media is always going to be something you need to do. But I know email marketing is going to be something you have to do. So I kind of put that on its own. But I hope this all is making sense so far. Let's dig in, okay? Social media. We'll talk about that one first. You may not like it. I particularly hate it, but my readers like it, and my readers are there. And platforms like Facebook make it really, really easy to find those people, those readers, the one person, the one person who I know will like the thing I've created for them. Okay. Guys, it's 2023. If you're listening to this in 2024, it's 2024. If you're listening to it in 2027, I hope the world is still here. Whenever you listen to this, social media is going to be a thing. It may not look like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, but it's going to be present. We are going to connect with people through the internet in a way that is social. That's all social media is, okay? And if you're not doing it, you're missing out. You're not getting people you could be getting to read your books, to find you. Is that fair? Doesn't matter if it's fair because it's true. So here's how you do launches, campaigns, evergreens in the world of social media, okay? Actually, let me go back and define those first before we really get going. Excuse me. So in each of these three buckets, I believe you need to be approaching your marketing, literally making a plan in just three categories: launches, campaigns, and evergreens. What do those mean? Well, your launch is pretty obvious. That's when you launch a book, or let's just say a new product, because it doesn't have to be a book, right? It could be, or it doesn't have to be an ebook. It could be an audiobook, paperback. It could be a new box set. It could be a Kickstarter campaign. Whatever it is, this is a temporary, okay? You're not going to launch forever. You want to work on the next book, but you do need to think about how you're going to launch the thing coming up. So you have a series of communication that you need to plan and figure out how you're going to squirt out to the world. And if we're talking about this in terms of social media, well, guess what? That means you're using social media to do that. See where I'm going with this? So your launch is just a series of communications that will go out to whoever follows you and then some on whatever platform, whatever bucket you're looking at between social media, advertising, email marketing. And I'll give you examples of these, don't worry. So that's your launch. It's a temporary thing. You start, you end. There's a date. You get to choose. You want to do a 3-day launch. You want to do a 7-day launch, which I've seen very common, very successful. Ditto, 14-day launches are great. But you can do longer. You can do a 30-day launch. Maybe you've got a pre-order set up and you want to have a year launch. A lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of time, but you could totally do that. It doesn't matter, guys. That's the point. If you're approaching this from the mindset of, I just need to plan this out, you're winning. You're doing something that most authors won't consider. They'll just think, okay, I finished the book. Now let me put that marketing hat on. And now let me think about how to launch. And I guess I'll just mention it on Facebook. I don't want to bug people. I don't want to, blow up their Insta. Don't think in those terms. Think in terms of, I've planned this launch. I've scheduled my, campaign or my launch communications, and I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go for it. Okay. Campaigns. Let's talk about campaigns. These are also temporary, but they're typically not a launch. So anything that is temporary that you're promoting is a campaign. These are my words. This is my term, but launches, campaigns, evergreens. This is just the way I approach this stuff. So a campaign is essentially a temporary promotion. It's usually a promotion. It doesn't have to be, though. It could just be, a communication stream. And that's a campaign, right? So what that means is like you're scheduling a series of in the email marketing bucket of emails that go out, or in the social media bucket, you're scheduling a series of quote cards from your books that go out, and that all of them will link back to your book. All of them will link back to whatever. But it could also be not promotional. It could just be a campaign that you are setting up to just drive interest to your Facebook group. Again, going to social media, right? So this is just a temporary set of communication that goes out. And the three buckets will determine how you communicate these. I hope this is making sense so far. Finally, an evergreen. Well, you probably heard this term in marketing speak, a lot of blogs. If you follow like the blog world, like 10, 15 years ago, everyone was making evergreen content. Well, this is just content that lives forever because it's evergreen. And it's always in vogue, right? It's always topical. It's always apropos, appropriate. I'm using all these weird French words. Whatever. The point is, your evergreen campaigns, and I said that I don't want to use the word campaign twice because it's not a campaign, but it's something that lasts forever. You can constantly keep this running. Okay, so that's how I define these: a launch, temporary, and you're launching a book specifically or a new product. A campaign is also temporary, but it's a temporary stream of communication to do a certain thing, hit a certain goal, right? Or increase a certain metric or improve a certain metric. And then your evergreens are things that just constantly will consistently roll forever. Okay. So talking about those three things, that framework in terms of social media, I've kind of said a few of these already, but I'll just make sure that you guys get it. Your launches for a new book, let's talk about a book. Okay. Maybe you got a box set, a series, the same rules apply. But in terms of a book, a launch campaign in social media might look like daily posts or even multi-day posts leading up to that launch and even after the launch, right? Because, if you're like me, I release iteratively. So it's not just launch day that I want to get all the sales. On the contrary, I actually want to launch for like 2 months after the book is live because I'm fixing it up, right? I get my feedback is coming in. There's typos that I'm missing, all that. It's all iterative, And so, I'll launch my ebook in that way. And using social media, I'll be talking about it. I'll be promoting it. I'll have other people, if I can, try to talk about it and promote it. I'll put, cover reveal might be part of that. Different chapters, free chapters, preview chapters, things like that could easily be part of your launch. And all you need to do in social media is make it so that your posts are digestible, enticing, shareable. You can do that either by making them really well written. You can make them attractive by using something like Canva or Stencil to design quote cards, graphics. But that's all kind of, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're planning this out using social media. Literally, write it down. What are you going to do? Okay, I've got a book launch coming up. Great. When is it on Amazon? When is it available in all the stores if you're wide? Cool. How long do you want to do a social media launch for? Okay, 14 days. Great. What are you going to do every day? That's it. You want to have somebody share? You don't want to write a post every single day? Great. Have somebody else do it. Have them share your book. This stuff, you just schedule it out ahead of time. That's all you got to do. I mentioned you can even post multiple times a day. Look, the reason social media scares people a lot isn't that it's a lot of work. It is. It can be. It's that we think we're going to scare away our friends, right? We're going to scare away the people who like us the most. Well, guess what? If they're really your friend, they don't care. They get it. They know what you're doing. If they're not really your friend, there's a great way to find those people and say, like, bye, Felicia, right? The truth is, though, they won't see half the crap you post on social media. That's how it works. I think I read like 6% of everything that you post gets seen. A better way to say it is 6% of your audience will see any particular thing that you post on Facebook. So what are you worried about? You could post 6 times however many equals 100%, a day. And that, theoretically would mean that everybody's seen something of yours once. That's not exactly how it works. But the whole point is, you with me here on the math? Like, if I'm posting this right here, there are 500 people in this group, and there's something like 34 people that have seen it officially. But that's how the social media works. It's not because no one cares. It's because Facebook doesn't show everything to everybody all the time. They want their ads to run, and we'll talk about ads next. Okay? So if you're worried about oversharing, if you're worried about posting too much, stop it. You're not. I'm telling you you're not, and I'm going to keep telling you you're not posting, even through advertising and email marketing, because it's just the way it works, guys. There's algorithms and filters, as Adam just said. Abso-freaking-lutely. Stop worrying about scaring people away, because if they like you, you're not going to scare them away. If you think they like you and they don't, then they're going to go away, and you don't want to be friends with them anyway. But really, it's about that third category of people who want to know what's going on in your world. Or maybe they don't want to know, or they don't think they want to know until you tell them. Right? This is the Steve Jobs quote. Like, people don't know what they want until I tell them. People don't know you have a book until you tell them. So use social media to tell them. That's a launch. I hope that makes sense. It doesn't have to be a post. It doesn't have to be like a quote or a written thing. It could be a video. You could do an interview. Schedule that out a month ahead of time, even before you finish the book. Record an interview. Maybe do one of those like reels where, they make it look like there's somebody else in the room interviewing, like they're like looking at somebody off screen like this. And they're like, yeah, no, I wrote this book because, I really wanted to write this book. And I think, people are really going to like it. And then we watch it and we're like, oh my God, somebody's interviewing this. This person must be like legit. Guys, you can fake it. I'm not telling you to just fake everything, but you can just set this stuff up and squirt it out there, and people will find it and see it and click through it. And that is part of your launch for social media. You can use all this stuff. You can repeat stuff you've posted in the past. I know, because we don't all see everything you post. That's how social media works. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of overposting. Let's talk about campaigns. Same idea here, but instead of launching something, you're just talking. You've done something and you're talking about what you did. Or you're going to do something and you're talking about what you're going to do. A campaign, a good example of this is if you are trying to build goodwill. This is a marketing word we just use for making people like you. You might do a campaign about the Colorado Avalanche. Okay, that's something I like. So I might just, I might literally schedule. I think in my marketing head, I'm thinking, you know what? I just want people to be engaged with me. That's all I want. So I'm going to run a campaign on social media. It's going to last from this date to this date, and I'm just going to post once a day about the Colorado Avalanche, and I'm going to follow along in their playoff journey, and womp, womp, they lost. So that's the end of my campaign, right? But that's how you think about it. It doesn't have to be something you're selling. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. But this is an example of a campaign and how we might use social media to run a campaign. And then finally, evergreen. This is something that you are doing over and over again. This is where scheduling tools might come in. For example, I use something called socialchamp.io. It kind of sucks. It kind of rocks. It's kind of in between. It's whatever, but I got a lifetime deal on it. So now I'm like, I have to use it. It's not cost fallacy, guys. But it works for what I need it to work for. But you can find it. There's a million of these. Meet Edgar, things like that. Buffer, I believe, will do this. The point is, what I use this for evergreen in social media is to have posts that repeat after a certain amount of time. Even on Facebook, yes, doesn't have to be just tweets, because the whole thing about Twitter, remember, if you followed social media at all, everyone on Twitter was like, well, you got to post the same damn thing 4 times a day and then just have that because no one will ever see it. Well, that's how all social media works. We just didn't know it at the time. But you can do the same thing for Facebook. And I don't think you should do it 4 times a day, but maybe you have an evergreen campaign where, so again, all the time, this is going all the time, this is running all the time, constantly, where you say, hey, I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan. Here's me in my hockey gear. And you just repost that every 3-4 months. Why? Well, because there are new people that are going to come into your world. They haven't seen this before. And guess what? The people who have seen it, they forget. Because we all have the memory of a goldfish now. So we don't care if you posted the same thing. We're not going to kill you. We're not going to hate you for it. We're going to know, hey, this guy's marketing, right? Cool. Great. So the point is, evergreen in social media, that's how this looks. Evergreen campaigns are just things that are rolling constantly all the time. Maybe you do have a good interview that's not fake, with someone that's not in the room. Maybe you got a real interview and you can use a tool to edit it down to like a reel, which is anything sub 1 minute. And then you just post that every few months. You can do that. I mean, I recommend doing a lot of this stuff and having fresh content for sure. But this is how you market in social media in terms of evergreens. So that's launches, campaigns, and evergreens for social media. I hope we're all with me. Let's go to advertising because you can do the same thing. That's all I want you to focus on is launches, campaigns, evergreens. And now we're going to apply that to advertising. Okay, here's my bottom line with advertising. Don't overthink it. It becomes so convoluted and so complicated so quickly that we get scared away and we don't want to do it. This is me. I ran 6 months last year where I was like, I'm just so freaking tired. It wasn't the word I used, but freaking tired of the nitty-gritty granular details, and I just can't keep track of it. I got spreadsheets that have spreadsheets in them. I didn't know that was a thing. You click a cell and another spreadsheet opens up and I've seen the thing, and I just got so mad. I was like, freak it. Let's just not do this anymore. Sorry, I know there's a couple kids watching. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. You got to run ads. I'm sorry. This is the way it is. You got to run ads, but they don't have to be complicated. Here's why. Facebook, they got our number, man. They know everything about you. They know everything about me. They know things about me I didn't even know. The ads I'm getting on Facebook, I'm like, I actually really do want that. I had no idea that you knew that I wanted that, but I didn't know I wanted that, but I'm going to buy it, and I buy it, right? That's how it works. Just deal with it, okay? You're in this world to sell books, which means you're going to have to get a little bit dirty in the advertising weeds, right? But don't overthink it. Facebook is really good at targeting. Let them do it. What do I mean? Well, if you don't have any ads running right now, here's a challenge. $5 a day. It may sound like a lot of money. It's $150 a month. I get it. I hear you. Go set up a book of yours. And this really doesn't, if you only have one book, don't do this, okay? I'm talking to you guys that have got a bunch of books out and you're like, I just can't figure out ads. Let me just tell you right now. Facebook ad, $5 a day. What are you running it to? Well, you're running it to one of your books that is 99 cents. Even better, it's a box set that's 99 cents. Okay? You're making the offer something they can't refuse, right? Why? Because marketing is creating something for somebody you already know will like it and then showing it to them. This is the showing it to them part, okay? So set that up. $5 a day. It's running to Amazon directly, if that's where you sell, wherever you want to sell it. Box set, 99 cents. I know this works. Ask me how I know, because I'm doing it. I've made $1,000 on a $500 ad spend, so that's 100% ROI, okay? That's the last 30 days. I'm currently working to scale it up and do all that stuff. I'm making it more complicated on purpose because I want to improve, but I didn't start there. I did not start. I just said, I'm going to do $5 a day. I'm going to test this out. We'll see if it works. I targeted, guess what? Everybody I could target. I didn't worry about splitting things out into little campaigns and ad sets and all that. I just put one campaign, one ad set, one ad, and it was all the ad set was where you do the targeting. And I just said, who are all the authors that like kind of sort of write in my genre-ish that are on Facebook? I didn't even care. Harlan Coben, I don't know how that is. He doesn't write anything like me, but he's technically a thriller author, and Facebook thinks that I just used the suggested things that Facebook told me, and I made this huge list of authors. There's like 25 authors on there in my target. Did I narrow it down from demographic? No, I did not. I said, okay, well, English, because my books are in English. Let's at least start there. I don't care what country you're in. If you speak English in Germany, guess what? You're going to see my ad, okay? 18 to whatever, 65 plus. I didn't change that. Why, guys? Because Facebook already can do that. Yes, if you want to get more complicated, you want to go spend a bunch of money on a course. I know the course you're thinking of is the one I'm talking about. It's a great course. There's nothing wrong with the course. It's a lot of money though, right? And what that's going to teach you is how to break all this stuff down so that you can really analyze the results and say, oh, Harlan Coben in Germany for English speakers that are 47 years old and women work really well. So let's break that out and put it into an ad set. What I'm telling you right now won't let you do that because you won't know which one of these things will work. But guess what? I'm talking to the people like me who got so frustrated with ads. We just thought, I can't manage all of this at once. You don't have to, okay? I hope you hear me here. Just go set up an ad, $5 a day, run it to 99-cent box set is the best way to do this because then you're still making money, right? Kindle Unlimited is great if you have that, if you're doing that, because then you get the page reads, which I should have said that's how I made a lot of the money, right? The sales were kind of 1 for 1, so that was a wash. But the page read is how I made all the money. Because it's a big old box set, 99 cents. People click it, they're like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. Amazon's already really good at selling stuff to people, so I just sent people right to Amazon. Okay, and then I just let Facebook do its thing. I mean, I had to give it something to start with, targeting-wise, but I just was like, hey, all of the authors, all of the age groups, all of the men and women and everything else, all of the countries, all of the people who speak English. I don't care. You do it, Facebook. It's your job. I'm giving you all the money to do all the marketing. So that's all the way I'm approaching it. So, all right, throw that away. That's my physical, let's throw that away and talk about how launches, campaigns, and evergreens work for advertising. You can probably already guess. So we're going to go a little faster here as we get to the end. We got 15 minutes left and we still got to talk about email marketing. So launches are just things that you can do to launch a book using ads. And specifically, I have found that retargeting ads work really well for launches. What this means, retargeting is just you've already advertised to people and they've had some sort of engagement, which is a click or a like or a subscribe or a purchase. And using a Facebook pixel, which is how they track you across the web. That's the cookies that you always click because you think you're going to get free cookies. This is actually what's happening is they're putting a little pixel on the website you're about to go to, and they're tracking you throughout the web. So Facebook knows this. And I'm talking about Facebook, but this is pretty much true for most of the platforms. Retargeting ads work really well for launches. So people who have already clicked your ads, people who are already on your mailing list, people who are newsletter subscribers for a friend's audience, a lookalike audience if you've built that. Launches on Facebook for ads, I usually use retargeting ads. Okay, moving on. Campaigns are the same. Just if we're talking about advertising, campaigns are just not a launch, right? It's a temporary ad that you're running for a certain amount of time, start and end date. Okay. As opposed to what? Well, the evergreen, right? We'll talk about it in a second. So the campaigns are just, these are great for teasing a book. You want to, hey, I'm working on this, and you've got a book coming out, and you want to just kind of talk about it a little bit. Well, you can use an ad to generate more, goodwill, more engagement for that. Start date, end date. Once it's done, then you move into the launch part. Then you're scheduling a launch using ads. Then your evergreens are just things you run all the time. This is where the lead gen ads come in, right? So if you want to build your list using Facebook ads, you better have an evergreen set up using ads. What does that look like? Well, I used to use one. I go back and forth with it. I always have an evergreen ad or lead gen ad running. But one iteration of this that I go back and forth with is I use the phrase better than James Rollins with a question mark at the end, which just gets really incites violence on Facebook. I love it. People get so angry. They're like, it's not better than James Rollins. I've never read it, but I just went and bought it and blah, blah. And I'm like, joke's on you, man. I got your money. I don't care if you like it or not. I got your money, right? That's the goal. So these lead gen ads also work really well. Sorry, these kind of ads work really well for building, generating leads. Sorry, I think I stumbled over my words there. I apologize. Trying to talk quickly. But these are evergreen, so they run all the time. So everybody who comes in Book Career in a year, one day, once we get to a certain size, I'm going to start running evergreen ads that will send people into the group. That's an example of how I would use that in advertising. All right, last one here, email marketing. And I mentioned this is kind of stands on its own because I think no matter what happens with ads and social media, we're always going to be doing email. I think that's always going to be something that we can do as authors and succeed with. Why? Well, because it's the one of these that we completely own. The list is ours. It should be ours. If you're paying somebody else to borrow their list, that's not a good long-term strategy. Get people's email addresses as much as you can. We all know this, right? So think of each of your touch points from above, from the social media, the ad talks, as possible email drip campaigns. Let me explain this a little bit. So how do we do launches, campaigns, and evergreens in terms of email marketing? Well, launches, these are easy. You got a new book, you squirt it out to your list. Hey, I've got a new book out. Go buy it here. That's usually what we do already. But are you thinking of it in terms of a launch campaign? Are you thinking of it in terms of I'm scheduling this, I'm putting it on the calendar. What happens on every day before the launch and then a couple days after? No? Okay, do it. That's how you launch using email marketing. You don't just send an email out and hope for the best. Oh, my open rate's average, so we'll just move on. No. 35% of your people saw it. Guess what? Send it again and again and again and again. And I want to see your calendar. I want to see that on your calendar, right? Same thing with before that. You got 2 weeks leading up to your launch. You telling anybody that you're going to launch anything? No? Why not? Are they going to unsubscribe from you? No, they're not, because they signed up to hear from you. If they no longer want to hear from you, they'll unsubscribe, but they weren't going to buy your book anyway because they don't want to hear from you, right? So don't be afraid of people unsubscribing during your launch campaigns. Send an email every day if you want to during your launch. It's not too much, okay? Literally, so you want to do a 2-week launch, I would send an email on day 1, 14 days before the launch, say, hey, I got a book coming out. Next day, hey, I got a book coming out. Day after, hey, here's an interview I did about the book coming out. Day 4, hey, guess what? Did you remember? I have a book coming out. Day 5, guess what? So you get where I'm going with this? You can just keep doing that. The book comes out. Hey, guess what? I know I've been telling you about it. My book is out. Here's where you can buy it. What's hilarious to me is every freaking time I do something like this, 7-day, 4-day, 12-day, whatever the launch is that I've scheduled, it doesn't matter how long it is. It doesn't matter how many times I resend to the people who didn't open it. On launch day, I get an email from somebody. I didn't know you had a book coming out. Like, great. Okay, cool. This is why we launch, folks. This is why we do this. If you just rely on that one day when you're launching the book, you're missing out. You're missing a lot of people who have signed up specifically to hear from you. So let them hear from you. How do you use campaigns? Okay, well, stream of emails. This is like an autoresponder, for example, that can start and end. Because again, a campaign is temporary time. So start date, end date. It could be 3 months. It could be a year. It doesn't matter. But you have a campaign that goes out to a specific cohort. Okay, these are people who signed in email marketing. The way we use campaigns is so certain people signed up for. So for example, this live stream, I've got a book career in a year master list, and I've been sending everybody on that master list the email that says, hey, we're going live. What I started doing, because I was trying to set this up early on and I just didn't do it until this past week, didn't get it to work, was I want a cohort that gets those emails. So the whole master list doesn't get all these emails about the live streams because they don't care. Only the people like you, kind people, who signed up specifically to hear about the live streams should get those emails. But then there's campaigns within that. So people who sign up for these live streams probably want to hear about other live streams that I do if I ever do any other ones. So I will have a campaign that kind of promotes those. That's only going to a cohort. Does that make sense? Finally, evergreens. How do you use evergreens? Well, this is obvious. You've got an autoresponder sequence that just goes forever. Now, that doesn't mean people will get an email from you every week forever. That just means that people who drop into your list and they're going to get enrolled in a drip campaign or an autoresponder sequence, whatever you want to call it, whatever your platform uses. I happen to be partial to author email, because I built it, but it's awesome. So if you don't have one, go check that out, authoremail.com. Shameless sales plug there. But the point is, you can do this on any of these platforms, right? You can set up your evergreen campaigns, or, again, I don't want to use that word twice, but evergreens, you can set them up using an autoresponder. So anybody who gets on your list will get this email, and then this email, and then this email, and then this email. And that whole thing runs all the time. So as you're getting people in from social media, as you're getting people in from advertising, you're going to have an email sent to them. You should be doing this all the time. Okay? I hope this is making sense. I hope this serves you guys as you kind of think through some of this. My feeling as I talk to authors, one-on-one or at a conference as I'm giving a presentation, is that they know about social media, advertising, and email marketing, but they also know about offline advertising and bookstore, deals and signings and events. Don't think about those in terms of marketing. Why? Are they bad? No, they're not bad. You just can't do everything. So I'm coming at you with, here's what you do. That's it. Those are your 3 buckets: social media, advertising, email marketing. If you don't have those down, I'm going to say, stop doing book signings, person, because that's not going to work. Go fix your email. Go fix your advertising. Let me see those campaigns. Let me see how you're using social media. Platform agnostic. Doesn't matter if you want to use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, MySpace, whatever. Pick one or two and roll with it. Make it your thing, but do the thing. Do the social media stuff. All right. And then how do you do it? Well, you launch, you do campaigns, and you do evergreens for each one of those 3 categories. That's the best way I can sum this up. If you're not thinking in terms of launching campaigns and evergreens, you're not really thinking of this in a very efficient way. There's nothing wrong with the way you're doing it if you're making $1 million a year and you're hitting all your goals. But if you're not, that's why you're here. So I've given you a framework: launch, campaigns, evergreens, and then the 3 buckets you need to be worried about, thinking about, building, setting up, making sure they work before you do anything else: social media, advertising, email marketing. All right, I'm going to shut up. I've given you a lot to take in. So honestly, there's a lot here. Probably want to go back and listen to it because I started rambling in some spots, but I hope you understand where I'm coming with this. And I hope you get what's coming up. I'm going to read some of these comments here. So if you got a question, drop it in. We got a few more minutes here before I press the button. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let me read Scott's comment here. Pro tip: check your autoresponders. Make sure that your reader magnets are delivering. I forgot to update my payment for BookFunnel, and people were signing up for my newsletter and not getting the reward promised. Real gut punch when I checked and found out. Yeah, man. So this is just basic admin work. And I don't mean basic in that like you're an idiot and you should have, I just mean there's a lot of things like that are easy to forget about. But if you're looking at this stuff, you got your yearly calendar in front of you, you haven't done any of this, start with email marketing maybe and say, for the next 3 months, I'm building my email marketing and I'm getting this established. I'm getting this foundation set up. And then I'm just going to, make that work for me before I even jump into social media and then advertising. The point is, yeah, there's all this kind of stuff that you can be doing, and we often think we have to do all of it. We have to test TikTok. And look, if it fits into what you're trying to do in social media, absolutely do it. But if it doesn't, don't do it. If you're not hitting your goals, you're not where you want to be, this is how you do it. 3 things: social media, advertising, email marketing. Do those 3 things first. Do them really well. And how do you do them well? Launch, campaigns, evergreens. I hope I repeated that enough. I said it a lot. Amanda, thanks, Nick. Really great stuff. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Joan, thanks, Nick. Douglas, we don't talk about Douglas. Jennifer, thanks for all the great... I'm just kidding, man. Don't get mad at me. Good stuff, man. Yeah, you're good stuff. You are just made of good stuff. I love you, Doug. Jennifer says, thanks for all the great info. Wonderful. I don't see any comments. There's probably some back because I can only see 4 at a time because Facebook is awesome. Eric says, thanks for the stream. Sometimes it helps just to think about these things a little differently. Yeah, man, exactly. Like, I'm not coming at you with anything new. Like, oh my gosh, here's this new way to market that no one's ever talking about. That's when you get into danger territory, right? When someone's telling you that, it's like, oh, I don't know what this one shyster came up with. I'm not coming at you with anything new. I'm just giving you a new way to think about it, hopefully. Randall says, no comment. Good. We don't want your comment. Dale says, we don't talk about Douglas. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was in a movie recently. We don't talk about Douglas. Was it? No, it was Bruno, wasn't it? Brandon Ellis, I just got, thanks Robin, sent this privately. Brandon said earlier, I've got so many subscribers, I'm afraid to send every day thinking it's counterproductive. Now the hell with that. I'm emailing them every day, emphasis my own. I'm emailing them daily during a launch or every other day. Yeah, man, look, so I mentioned I built an email platform. I'm not just blowing smoke here. I'm not just making stuff up. I've done some research. We've done some research at Author Email, and we've found it is statistically less likely, okay, you with me? Statistically less likely for somebody to unsubscribe than it is for them to delete your email or archive your email. What that means is a couple things that you can take away from this. First of all, when you get an email from anybody, where's that unsubscribe link? It's not the top. It's all the way at the bottom. So they got to scroll through your whole email, first of all, to even get to the unsubscribe link, which means, that tells me anyway, that they're really, really, really wanting to unsubscribe. That's not typical, unless they really, really, really want to unsubscribe. They don't want to unsubscribe unless you're sending them things that are bad marketing, wrong product, wrong audience, wrong offer. Okay? If you're not doing any of those things because you're not marketing, you're just trying to connect with them, like you're just saying, hey, I'm on vacation and I'm riding at the beach. Well, that's not a product. That's not really to the wrong audience. It's not the wrong offer at all. Why would they unsubscribe? They're just going to delete the email. They're going to say, hey, that's cool. I don't really care right now. I'm busy. I got work stuff going on. So I'm just going to press archive. I'm just going to delete that email because I still want to hear from you, Brandon. Tell me when you got a book coming out. Does this make sense? So there's some real data here. Like, guys, people will just delete your email if they don't want to hear from you that day. But tomorrow, maybe they're in a space where they can click on that link. So they don't want to unsubscribe the day before. They want to just delete it because, oh my God, so much work going on. I'm just going to press delete. I'm going to press archive. The next day, you send an email again, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm glad you sent that because yesterday I was in a weird headspace. Now I'm going to click your link and buy your book. So stop thinking that people will unsubscribe if you send too much. Okay? The other way to say this is people will unsubscribe. That's just the nature of email marketing, but it's not for the reasons you think. Okay, hope that helps. Cool. Thanks for that, Brandon. That's helpful. Randall asked if resurrecting an old series, which of the 3 works best? Well, look, you gotta. Oh, you don't mean social media advertising or email marketing because you should be doing all 3 for that resurrecting an old series. You mean launch, campaign, or evergreen? Well, I would think of it as a launch. Honestly, I mean, you're resurrecting an old series, which implies temporary. You know, you've got this old series, but you want to bring new life to it. I would start with a launch. I would launch that thing. Whatever that looks like for you, 4-day, 7-day, 14-day, whatever it is, through social media advertising and email marketing, do a launch. If that works really well, or even if it doesn't work really well, then you can come back later and do a campaign, right? You can say, hey, remember I launched this thing? Check this out. Here's 14 days. I'm going to talk about this. And again, it doesn't have to be every single day, but for a month, this is your focus. This is your campaign. You're running on social media advertising and email marketing for that box set that you resurrected. Okay. And then you get to the point where, like I'm about to start an evergreen campaign for a paperback book that I'm giving away. So it's like one of those, hey, you pay shipping and handling, and I'll send you the book for free, paperback. I'm hoping that will be an evergreen campaign for me. I just run it all the time. Yeah, Kim says going to review this probably more than once. Yeah, I packed like a full 3-day, half day session into an hour, and I hope that I didn't talk too fast. But again, I didn't worry about that as much because I'm like, I just want to get all this information to your brains. You can go back and look through it slowly. You can listen to it slowly. One day I'll have transcriptions of all this stuff. Like I said, I might repackage it and try to sell it at some point. But you're getting it for free because it's really important to hear this stuff. It's really important to be looking at marketing in a certain way. Rose says she's going to review again too. Well, thank you. That's a nice little ego stroke for me. I got to run because I need to decompress, and that involves a Reuben at the place up the street with my buddies. This isn't related to marketing, but I've never had a Reuben before, guys. So my Slack group was like, what's wrong with you, you weirdo? So it turns out the place up the street is like the best food in town. They've got a Reuben, so I'm gonna go get me a Reuben. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you being here. Come back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be good. If you've got any recommendations, if you have any questions, like, hey, I would love for you to, how do you do this? How do you think about this? Let me know. You can contact me in 1,000 different ways because I'm on social media, I'm advertising, and I'm doing email marketing, right? So you can contact me, send me an email, whatever you want to do, find me, poke me, whatever we do now, and on Facebook, not in real life. And then just let me know if you've got an idea for live streams. Maybe you want to post something in Book Career in a Year. Look, I'm not like some groups out there. You're not going to get kicked out for opening your mouth. So you can go post in the group. Here's my ideas for live streams. Nick, would you talk about these? Whatever you want to do it. I'm happy to look at that stuff. I want to talk about this. If you can't tell, I like talking about this stuff. It's all helpful for our author careers, right? Anyway, I'm going to go. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your support. And we will be back live